Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. I decided to do an impromptu session to share some messages from Spirit. So I'm here on holiday, so hopefully the signal's going to allow us to do this, and we'll see how it goes. I don't know if you can see, but behind me is the beautiful ocean. I'm down on the Natal south coast. I'm taking a chance of doing this outside, so we'll see how that goes and what happens. And really, this is just an opportunity for me to connect in, as I haven't been doing any live readings recently, and to give you a couple of messages from Spirit. And for those that join me live, if you'd like a reading, you can ask for one and I will do a message for you. So if you're there, come on board, let me know that you're there. It'd be lovely to know. If you could see me and hear me, I'm not sure about the signal, as I said. So 2018 is coming to a beautiful and magical close. And 2018 has delivered on its promise of being a year of alchemy and a year of transformation, a year of mastery. It's certainly been a year of triggering many of us into our shadow, into our judgments, into our insecurities, and into our old wounds, and asking us to navigate that, to look at it, and to notice what's going on there, so that it can be shifted. And for those of us that have not fought too much, the great trick has been to surrender and to allow ourselves to go into that energy. And so I see my friend Angela's joined, and she's on holiday with me, so that's the funniest thing. Is really as an opportunity tonight to reflect on the gifts that 2018 has offered. Certainly has not been a year without a couple of interesting twists and turns, and not everything's always gone according to plan, but Spirit's plan and our plan are not always the same thing. And so as we kind of go into this new year, I posted a thing earlier about how useful it is to sit and reflect on the opportunities and the gifts that 2018 has offered, rather than going into it with this energy of like, oh, thank goodness it's over, and tomorrow some magic's going to transform you into a brand new life. Your life is a construct of the way we show up and the way we work with what is given to us. And so I'm going to do some readings for those of you that are here, and the readings are really going to be an opportunity of what is it that can be noticed for you tonight and going into the new year. Before we do that, I'm going to do a special reading for whoever comes on board who sees this message, and I'm going to pull 3 cards and ask my guides to give some messages that are sort of like a broad energy message for whoever happens to find this tonight, tomorrow, or in the weeks that follow. So I see a couple of you here. Lovely to see you. I hope you're all enjoying time of relaxation and peace. It's not always the easiest time of year for many people as well, so always holding that in mind. Right, thank you, Lorianne. So we're going to do 3 cards, and let's see what it is our guides want to tell us, and then I'll do some readings. So whoever wants it, you can ask for a reading and we'll do that. We'll start there. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So the first card that's come up, and it can't be a more appropriate card for this time, is turn and face your future. Your past does not define you. You could not think of a more appropriate card for New Year, is it? Is that this card has a sort of like portal, which, if you can see there, the sort of seed of life portal, and if this sort of part here represents the past, and this represents the possibility that awaits us. The important part is to notice where you are in this portal. If you're facing backwards, then you're always going to be wanting to sort of eject out to this way, and then that means we keep recreating the same things that we've had. But if we allow ourselves to turn and dream and imagine the possibilities of what it is that we could have, and take ownership, I think this is the important bit that the guides are bringing forward as a word. It's like there's a real need to take ownership of this pathway. That this is not something that's happening to you, it's something you're working with and co-creating, and your steps are impacting this pathway. And so how you navigate your sort of a path, how you choose to work with what's going on in your life and how you step forward at this point in time, that's really the question mark that the guides are saying. So saying, like, time is an illusion. It exists in the 3D consciousness, but it's not necessary for, it's not a spiritual dimension, it's an earthly dimension. But what time does is it gives us our ego a moment of ritual. And when we have things like New Year, there's this ritualistic approach to it. It's like the ritual of the old is done and the ritual of the new can start. The reality is there's no real change from yesterday to today or today to tomorrow, other than our attitude. And so it's quite an important thing to just embrace your own willingness to step into that path. My dear friend Angela, that's on holiday with me, is sneaking up and asking if she can come and sit with me. So if you see my eyes there, that's where it is. So as you sit here at this point tonight, stepping into tomorrow, how do you take ownership of the portal, of the ritual, the pathway that you have, this portal of possibility for the future? Because anything's possible. The next card that's come up is the one that I was laughing about, because it's the one that was the card for 2018. And so anybody who's been working with me for this year will know that at the Soul Compass workshop, this is the card that represented 2018. There is no right and there is no wrong. And so it's come forward again here as a moment of reflection, of not looking at this year as being good or not looking at this year as being bad. So many of us want to do this. We want to evaluate the year and say, okay, that's a good year or that's been a bad year. The truth of it is it's been a year full of opportunities, heartbreaks, losses, gifts, all sorts of things that have manifested itself. And so all needs to be noticed and not judged as good, not judged as bad. Just owned and honored and experienced for what it is. And when we can do this, we start to bring in a sort of neutral gratitude. And it's weird when they put those two sort of words together. It's like a neutral gratitude. It's not the gratitude because we've judged it as good. It's the gratitude because it's been what it is. In our life, there's a daily experience when we can just honor the irritations, the beauty, the joy, the heartbreak, and take all that into account and not evaluate it, then we get the opportunity to gain some perspective. So those are the two cards. The third card that comes up tonight is a card about stepping forward into the next phase, and this is trust your inner knowing. And so the way the guides are talking about this is like, how are you going to internalize or gain access to the internal wisdom within you? What they mean by this is, we have this great desire to put together sort of New Year's resolutions and goals. And many of those things are externalized goals. We want more money, we want to go to different places, we want to do these things. The way the guides are talking about is saying, if you're wanting to create a sort of pathway forward, and remember the first card for 2019 is to sit in quietness tonight or tomorrow and access the internal wisdom that's asking you to take stock of what it is your intuition wants, what it is your soul wants, what it is that you're being guided to shift into, and to make the goals for 2019 internal goals rather than external goals. Both obviously exist, and there is no right and there is no wrong, but the opportunity to sit in, what is it that my heart desires? What is it that my spirit longs for? Where is it that my work is most needed? What is it that my voice most wants to express? Where do I most want to participate? What is it I most want to create? These questions become questions that create a different perspective and a different sense of intention setting for 2019, as opposed to the sort of traditional goal setting that we tend to do. Right, so there we have it. So there's a general reading for everybody. So let us see who would like a reading. Oh, that's lovely, Paula. How beautiful is that? From the United States. Okay, let's see who's asking here. Georgina Bub. All right, Georgina, let us see what is coming forward for you today. Feel free to share this out. I didn't let people know I was coming online, so I'm probably going to get into trouble for that. But I'm on holiday, so it was a spur of the moment thing. Yeah. All right, Georgina. Let us see what your guides want to say. Okay, Georgina, the card that's come forward for you is you need to take the first step. You need to take the first step. There's this, your male guide comes forward and he says he shows me this idea of waiting. There seems to be a tendency for you to waiting for permission, waiting for the opportunity, waiting for somebody to say something, waiting for something. But the important part is about sort of releasing the need to procrastinate, or more importantly, not needing to wait for permission from anyone. And so, sorry, I don't know if this background noise can be heard. We're in a complex and there's some people chatting, so if you can hear it, just ignore it. So Georgina, the big thing they're coming up with is like, sit down and get clear about what it is you want to take action about. What is it you want to do? And this is a year, as they're saying, of not waiting anymore, of taking steps, doing things. Even if it's the tiniest action every day towards doing something that's important for you, that's what they're saying is important for you at this time. So taking action, doing what you need to do. Exactly, Paula, that's exactly right. Who's next? Kami, hello, how are you? I don't know what the weather's like in PE. I believe in Joburg it's cold and raining. As you can see, it's a beautiful evening here down in Natal. I see some of you are from the UK and overseas, so I'll show you all in different weather. Right, Kami, let us see. There's an interesting message that's coming forward for you, Kami. Release the shame. Release the shame. And it's very interesting. As I bring up your card, it's like your guides are stepping out the way, and there's 3 archangels that have just flown in. So it's Archangel Michael, Archangel Jophiel, and Archangel Azrael. And all 3 of these archangels have stepped forward, almost with a need to sort of kind of create a clearing and a blessing for you. And this is really, when they're saying release the shame, it's almost about letting go of some sort of old things. So sort of it's not even that you're holding on to them. It's almost like a detox, like a clearing away. It's like things need to just move out the way. It's like these old fragments of old energy around you that needs to just be cleared out. And so they're saying a detox energetically of just sort of opening yourself up to sort of refreshing energy, because it's kind of like there's a lot going to be happening for you going forward, and there's a real need to just clear out all blockages. So if there's any chance of doing anything like that, having a salt bath, any rituals of just releasing, letting go, breathing sort of in clear light and letting your sort of frequency navigate to a higher vibration. And those 3 archangels are very insistent on working with you. So I hope that makes sense here. All right, let us see who is next. Paula, I'm loving your comments in between everything. Thank you so much. Stephen Colon. Can you ask my guides if I'm safe from the recent threat I just found out about? You're always safe, Stephen, but let us see what your guides want to say to you about this. I think, Paula, you and I are on the same frequency, my love. Right. All right, let us see, Stephen. Oh dear. Okay. I say oh dear because it's a card that you're going to jump to a conclusion about, but we need to just break it down a little. So your question is, can you ask my guides if I'm safe from a recent threat I just found out about? The message has come forward from you is turn and face anything you are avoiding. And so the way your sort of guides come forward is they come forward with this sort of it's a bit like they come forward with a magnifying glass. So there's a need for searching for some clues. There's a need to look for something. There's a pattern going on. There's something that you are doing that's contributing to whatever's going on here. And you are needing to sort of take ownership of the part you're playing in this and face that, because that will be the leverage point when you can notice that and own that, not with any judgment or not with any blame, just with the idea of, okay, so that's the catalyst, that's the thing, or the energy or the pattern or the insecurity I have that contributes to this. When you can do that, then it's like unlocks a whole lot of stuff. It's a little bit like searching for the clue, and once you've got the clue, it opens up all the doors and everything gets there. And so your guides are saying you need to spend some time or get some perspective, get some input into the part you're playing into this. And it's not obvious, it's subtle. It's a very subtle part you're playing. The short answer is, are you safe? We're always safe. It's the ego that fears not being safe. But allowing yourself to really integrate, if my soul is safe, what is I want to do with this? What does this offer me? Like, this is a mirror. This is giving you something to notice about yourself, because there's a pattern here. I hope that helps, Stephen. Good luck. All right, who's next here? All right, pleasure, Kami. Taryn, Bulma, great name. I'm going to have to do a reading for you, Taryn. You want a reading, Ange? Ange just lying on the grass next to me, soaking up all the energy. There's some beautiful birds flying around us. All right, pleasure, Stephen. All right, Taryn. Just telling me I must take another card. Okay, so there's two cards that have come forward for you, Taryn. The first card is called Balance the Masculine and the Feminine. And then the second card that came up is Coping is Not the Same as Healing. Okay, so these two messages, the balancing the masculine and feminine, I think without a doubt, with so many of the clients that I work with and the way they're showing it, that this is sort of the this is the real work of those of us that are at a place of wholeness and integration, is not holding even the masculine and feminine in polarity anymore, is collapsing that into sort of humanity, that there is sort of no distinction between masculine and feminine. And we can see that with so many of the souls that are coming to earth that choose not to identify as masculine or feminine, because they almost have navigated beyond that karmic pathway. Now, that's on a sexuality level. With your reading, it's not about a sexuality thing. It's about the energy of sensuality and sexuality that's coming forward. Now, when I say sensuality and sexuality, they are not the same thing. Sexuality has obviously got to do with the physical dominance of sex, or the physical act of sex, or the physical pleasure of sex, where sensuality has got to do with the mysteriousness of owning the sort of magnetism of ourselves and the energy with which we show up, and to become sort of that sort of sensual magnets. And so the sensuality is a more feminine energy, and sexuality is a more masculine energy. And these sort of two energies, when they play together, then we get this sort of like gentle power that starts to exist. It's power through presence rather than power through dominance. And your guides are showing like there's a part of you that you've done so much work to heal so many aspects of yourself, but this sort of aspect of owning your feminine grace, the essential power of being feminine and the beautiful feminine, the wild woman in you, the sort of and when we take the wild woman, we get the goddess, and we get the sort of the sort of what's the word? the woman who's so engaged with her own sexuality. But in order to do this, we need to face the prostitute in ourselves, the slut in ourselves, all these other parts of ourselves. And there's something here for you to navigate. It's the sort of this feminine energy, this power of the feminine energy. And it really is important that it's loved. It's loved into a healthy place rather than worked on. It needs to be so like loving your sensuality, loving your body, loving being a girl. That's what that's about, Taryn. I hope that makes sense for you. Nolan, right, let's do a card for you. We just did one for your wife. Do one for you now, my love. Nolan, Angela wants to know if you're the person who took your crystal from Nikki's place. I think you are. Okay, right. Pleasure, Taryn. There we go. Paula's giving some mini readings in between as well, so enjoy that. Okay, Nolan, the card that's come forward for you is speak your truth, speak your truth, speak your truth. It's like your guides are, Archangel Gabriel has stepped forward with a sort of trumpet and like this real need to like make an impact and to express yourself in a way that is far more assertive than it's been before. And when I say assertive, it's not with aggression, it's with belief. So the time of doubt is over. They're saying it's like you need to start believing your thoughts. Not your thoughts, your words. What's important to you. You need to start believing in what it is you have to contribute. The sort of sense of doubt that plagues you year after year after year is really, it's like kind of time to like. I'm going to swear, which might get me kicked off Facebook, but to tell your dad to fuck off with love and light. It's done now. Go put it in the naughty corner. It must go sit there. And when you need to listen to it, you'll go and get it out the corner, as opposed to letting it have this eternal sort of voice in your head. And so it's like really, really taking that part of you that's in the saboteur in you that doubts everything and telling it enough now. You've had enough of that. And this is the year of believing in what it is you're going to do. It really is an important, there's an important portal here for you that you've got a great opportunity to step into that and to do that. Right, so he says most likely, Angela, he's sorry. All right. Okay, let us see who's next here. Poppy. Yes, you may have a reading, Poppy. Let us see what your guides would like to tell you tonight. Oh, it's such a beautiful evening sitting out here. Okay, Poppy, the message that's come forward for you is acceptance will set you free. Acceptance will set you free. So, Poppy, what's coming forward for you is I'm not sure what's happened in this year. I get a profound amount of heartbreak. So your guides come in with a sort of energy of, it's a very gentle energy with how they come in. And there's this real need. I almost want to just take you in a warm hug and give you a beautiful hug. So I'm not sure what has happened in this year for you that has brought about this heartbreak, or whether it's actually even longer, but your guides are bringing in a sense of comfort, and the comfort brings in with it that like they really want to just settle down and settle everything down and say it's all okay and it will be okay, and just to, the words hang in there sound wrong, but that's the words they're giving. It's just more It's about noticing how loved you are and accepting the love that's being offered to you. Not only the love from spirits and the love from the divine, but the love from people around you. Allowing yourself to receive that love and support at this point in time. And there's an element of then learning how to receive that and trust that again, that you are able to do that. So I hope that that makes sense for you, Poppy. My heart, yeah, there's just a hug. I'm just going to send you a big hug. So sending you all the love that I can across these waves, yeah? All right, so let us see. Lorianne. All right, Lorianne. Lorianne. What you looking at behind me like that?
It's just a snake.
It's just a snake sneaking up behind me in this beautiful nature setting. Angela's sitting here just out of sight of the camera and she's looking suspiciously behind me and I'm like, what is behind me? All right, Lorianne, let's see what your guides would like to tell you. Oh, one of my favorite cards, Lorianne. Appreciate the beauty of life. Not really, it's quite funny what Angela and I were just joking about right now, because it is this sort of idea of, trusting what's going on behind you and noticing all the beauty around you. But we often have this level of suspicion, and they're saying that this is part of what was coming up is in this message for you. Lorianne, in the way your guides are coming forward is they bring forward sort of like if you had to imagine like a beautiful temple or a piece of, walking into a cathedral, that sort of energy of the sort of artwork that exists within a cathedral kind of environment, the sort of stained glass windows and the and all the intricate sort of carvings and the statues and the statuettes. They keep giving me this sort of energy around it, and the way they're wanting to do this is like this sort of cathedral is you, like you have all these beautiful aspects to you, all these sort of intricacies and reflections and perspectives. And when you can see yourself as that sort of beauty, then you can notice what it is that you have to offer the world. And so if you can sit in awe of a cathedral and all the beauty and the artwork that is in there, you can sit in awe of yourself and notice how important that is for you. So they're kind of going, like they want to compare. They say they look at you in the same way as you look at a cathedral. Now, I think that is so beautiful. Gosh, I think that's a reading everybody needs to hear tonight. Is that is the awe of you. And so there's nothing you can't achieve. There's nothing you can't do. And so to appreciate the beauty of you in your life is probably a better way of seeing this card, and not constantly looking around, doubting yourself, and trying to protect yourself from others, because there's nothing to protect yourself from. All right. Let us see what's next here. Oh, I'm glad you like that, Lorianne. All right, so let us see. All right, Daya Govender. Let's do a reading for you, Daya. Those of you that haven't been online with me before, I don't really scroll back up. So if you're wanting a reading, just keep asking. And the way it works for me is I'm typically called to people that where the reading is going to serve the greatest good of the entire audience. So if you're not called, still listen to other people's readings, because there's often a great message there for you too. Right, let us see here, Daya. Oh, and to you too, Lorianne. Okay, Daya, the card that's coming forward for you is Return to Innocence. Return to Innocence. And you'll again see the sacred geometry symbol in the center here, the seed of life. If you were watching at the beginning of the reading when I did turn and face your future, your past must not define you, you would have seen the seed of life being the portal that was there as well. And so this becomes a really important symbol for you to work with at this point in time. The seed of life is really the sort of, it's the structure of all creation, and allows everything to be, everything starts from this place. And so the reason they bring this forward is like, it's allowing yourself to notice that you have the ability to manifest whatever it is that you want. You are the creator, and you are the creator of your own destiny and of your own life. So the idea of waiting for somebody to show you the way is not necessary, because you have the way within you, and you have the opportunity to create that. It could almost be valuable for you to either go and Google Seed of Life, download it. If you can draw it, then you can draw it. It's not a very difficult thing to draw if you have a compass, but it's a beautiful symbol to just meditate on and to see what comes up for you tonight, Dia. All right, so there we have it. I think somebody's about to open a bottle of champagne in our vicinity. It's not us, sadly, but if you hear a loud pop, nobody's dying, so I'm just giving you the heads up. Right, oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Let's do a reading for you, my love. Elizabeth Lizzie Gutkin. Oh, it wasn't too loud. Nobody sounded like I was dying there. All right, Elizabeth, let's see what your guides want to say to you. Elizabeth, the card that's come forward for you is have faith. Have faith. Now, what's really interesting is, and it's the first time they're asking me to do this, is to turn this card upside down. And I've never seen this before. Okay, so when you, I'm always fascinated when I see new things in myself. When you turn this cross upside down, it suddenly looks a lot more like a sword. And so then when we turn it this way, we get the cross. And when we turn it this way, you can see it's like a sword. Yeah, I've never seen, they've never shown me to use this card this way. But the thing they're wanting to show you is that there's so much power and strength in faith, that this is almost the sort of armor that you need to navigate your life. Now, the faith that they're talking about is faith in yourself, faith in your own conviction, faith in your own divinity. It feels to me like there's something you're needing to stand up for, something you're needing to express, something you're needing to say or do, and there's a need for you to own that, and to find your own voice in this myriad of confusion around religion, around different spiritual practices and that sort of thing, is to trust you have your own voice in this. Oh, I see that you say you're Jewish. Okay, so there's something around confusion around spirituality, divinity, religion, all these sorts of things, and finding your own conviction, taking up your own armor, finding your own faith, finding your own sword, listening to yourself in the way that you want to express yourself in the world. This is really, really important, and it's kind of like you've been dabbling in it, but there's a need to get clearer. There's a need for you to say, this is what I choose to think, and this is my version of reality, and it doesn't matter what it is, so long as it brings you a sense of lightness and a sense of peace. That's how you know that the path is a path for you. There's no right path. We're all just making our way home, as it's put. But really, it's about finding the one that's lightest for you. Okay, perfect. Right, let us see. Carly Whitaker. Oh, Jackie, you just keep missing me. Okay, I will do you, Jackie. Every time I choose somebody, I see your name come up next. So I will hopefully remember after Carly to do a reading for you, Jackie. Thank you. Angela says she'll remind me. My auditor to my right here is taking control. All right. Paula, I don't want to be President of the United States, but thanks for the offer. Okay, Carly, let your light shine, Carly. And I love that you put a little diamond in your request. You had the praying hands and the diamond. And the reason I say I love that is one of the group beings of that I channel is called the Diamond Ray Council, and it's a group of beings that all work at bringing forward a new consciousness, the sort of love consciousness, and really bringing in sort of a sense of peace and light into the world at this point in time. And when I get this card, Carly, and let your light shine, and the diamond is shown, is there's a need for you to own your own contribution to the sort of love consciousness that's existing in the world at the moment. We kind of sit at a tipping point at the moment when more and more of us are waking up to the sort of idea of bringing more love into the world. And so we're moving from power to love. And love does not mean, the sort of manipulative love that we have existing on the ego level. We're talking more about love. Love means absence of judgment. Love means gentleness. Love means compassion and kindness. One of the things I say the most in my workshops is kindness is disturbing. When you're kind to people, it disturbs them. And so learning how to just be kinder to everybody we meet is a big thing. And Carly, I keep being given the message that you're part of this consciousness. You're one of the light walkers that are waking up, and you have a lot to contribute. And to please not doubt the sort of intuition and the guidance that you're getting around accessing your unique gifts to help contribute to this love consciousness in the world at this point in time. I'm not sure where you're based, Carly, but there's a real need for you to embrace the sort of spiritual gifts that you have within you. Okay, Jackie, thank you, Angela. Jackie, there we are, Jackie. You can thank Angela. You can send her a little message through the waves. It's because she reminded me. Yeah. All right. So just keep asking if you're wanting to. Bye-bye, Paula. Thank you for all your contribution. Right, so let us see here, Jackie, what it is your guides want to tell you. Approach with lightness. Approach with lightness. So the magic that is unfolding in your life is quite important to be taken, take cognizance of. There's like, it's kind of like the way your guides are showing. It's like there's this fairy dust and sprinkle dust that's happening all around you, and so there's like magic, there's opportunity everywhere you're turning. There's nothing you can do that is that is not magic right now. It's like you're sitting on a sort of hello. Hold on one sec. What do you want, Manda? You want to see? You can come around and say hello to everybody if you want. Danny wants to say hello quickly. There we go. She's just trying. There you are. Now you're on Facebook Live. So, Jackie, it's kind of like trusting the ease and trusting the magic around you at this point in time. When we have this doubt of easy, we have this idea in our mind, our ego wants things to be more difficult than it is. And so when things start being easy, we start going into quite a lot of doubts. And your guides are going like, embrace the ease, like go the path of least resistance. Whatever you want to do, you can do. It's easy for you now. It's like you've done the hard work, and the opportunities to flow in your life are now existing there. So, gosh, what a lovely reading. So enjoy that, Jackie. Enjoy that. Approach with lightness. Don't make up problems that aren't there. You don't have to make them up. All right. Let us see who is next here. They wonder what I'm doing here. No. All right. David Seeley. Oh, poor animals. As it's New Year's, people are starting with the crackers. It's always, I suppose, very pretty to see, but so disturbing for the animals. All right, let us see here for David Seeley from Ontario, Canada. Welcome. Okay, David, so pleasure, Jackie. David, the cards come forward for you. There's no right, there is no wrong. There is no right and there is no wrong. Okay, David, there's a situation in your life that doesn't seem to be getting resolved. It seems to be quite persistent, and it continues and continues. And it's been going on for quite a while. It seems to be a significant amount of time that this has been going on in your life. And the reason it doesn't get resolved is because there's a sort of like there's like a wall. There's just judgment after judgment after judgment after judgment. A judgment can be including the judgment of I'm right and the judgment of you're wrong. It could be the judgment of doing what's right. But we can get quite stubbornly attached to certain perspectives in our lives, and when we do that, we can continue to manifest the same sort of thing over and over and over again. This does not it's not right or wrong. None of what we're saying means it's good or bad. It's just noticing that pattern of needing to hold on to something, and your guides are saying it's important for you to have a look at what you're holding onto too tightly that may be sort of manifesting the same things over and over and over for you, and how can you release something and just go into it. It doesn't have to be right or wrong. It just is. And what's next, because that's going to be more important than anything. Right, so I hope that makes sense for you. Who is next? Let us see here. Pleasure, Jackie. Lynn Jones, how are you, my darling? Let us see what your guides want to say. All right, Lynn. I'm so grateful the signal held out. I didn't think that we were going to be able to get signal to do this today. But hey, Spirit intervenes. If they want it, it happens. All right, so Lynn, choose to trust. Choose to trust. Okay, Lynn, the best way I can describe the way your guides are coming forward is it's like choosing to take the glasses that you're wearing and take them off and clean them out through a trust lens. If you looked at things through a trusting lens, then things are going to be very different for you than when you look at it through the current lens, because the current lens seems to have a little bit sort of jadedness, and the jadedness is coming through the fact that there's been some hurt that's existed. It seems to be specifically in the area of relationships, and so how do you choose to trust yourself in relationships? You don't need to trust anyone else. How do you trust yourself in relationships going forward? This would be the gift that they would offer you, is that you're able to navigate this, you're able to trust yourself in this. And choosing to trust is a really important thing. Trust doesn't happen. It's a choice point. It's like a decision. You choose to trust yourself, which means to start listening to the sort of intuition you have and acting on that, rather than overriding that for politeness or for any of these sorts of things. And it really is, they really want you to hear the message that when you connect with your intuition, you can trust yourself. You can trust your own perspectives of what's going on with people. Right, so there we go. I hope that makes sense. Sharon, she says beautiful animal sounds, so I'm glad you can hear them. All right, let's do Sharon Foster. Your guides are still on holiday. No, they're not. Your guides are right here. They're just playing. They're having a bit of fun. Right, let's see. If you're wanting a reading, just ask. I'll be online for another, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes and see what happens. And then I'll need to go make supper. Okay. All right, Sharon. Given your guides are not on holiday, here they are. Okay. So 2 cards came out for you. The one card is the card that was at the beginning of the reading. So if you didn't see the message at the beginning of the reading, you can go back and look at it. And that's turn and face your future. Your past does not define you. But the second card that came up is the sort of the part of how you access this future potential. And it's about mind, mind, body, spirit integration. So this is a card of wholeness. This is about really not living in the idea of separateness. The idea that our mind is separate to our body, and our body is separate to our soul, and our soul is separate to our heart. And then that often creates an internal wall. My mind wants this, my heart wants that, my body wants this. And so what we end up doing is we end up having sort of practices in our lives where sometimes we have a spiritual practice, but then we go around the rest of our day doing a physical life, and we don't have these integrated. And so in order for you to access the abundance that is available for you through this portal for your future, you need to start really making peace with the various parts in you. That your body is, your physicality and your spirituality, these are the two specific parts I talk about, that these two parts are not at odds with each other. That you bring your spirituality into your physicality. This happens for so many people on a spiritual path. It is probably the thing that, and Angela's going to nod her head because I go on about it so much, is that so many people that want to do a spiritual path want to exit physical life in a way. So they go and they live out in the clouds, and they meditate, and they have these wonderful spiritual experiences and so on and so forth, yet they walk around the spa and they're not really in their bodies, and they're not really enjoying their day, and they're not living their life. They're waiting to go and have a spiritual experience again. And the spiritual experience is in the daily tasks. It's when you're putting petrol in your car, it's when you're making food, it's when you're doing your emails, it's when you going to the bathroom. All of these are spiritual experiences too. They're grounded in the physicality, and only when we start enjoying our bodies and enjoying the pleasure of our life do we start to integrate. And so this is about embracing the pleasure of life, the physical pleasure of life. I joke a lot, I say this, and it's going to be one of my t-shirts one day, I've been told before, is that there are many souls that don't have bodies and would love bodies. And we come to earth and we get to eat pancakes and drink wine and have sex. And then you can't do that if you don't have a body. So it's about time we start enjoying our bodies and enjoying what it is that we have as a physical experience. And that's how we integrate spirituality into physicality. So, beautiful message for everyone. I hope that makes sense for you, Sharon. All right. Charlene, happy birthday. Let me give you a reading, seeing as it's your birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday. 1st of January. You want to come sneak in? Jenna wants to now come and sneak in and say hello. You got to say hello.
Hello.
Hello. There you go. There's a Jenna. That was a Jenna. It wasn't a guide. It was a Jenna. Well, maybe it was a guide. Who knows? No? It's an angel Jenna. All right, Charlene. Okay, Charlene, the cards come up for you, my love, is coping is not the same as healing. Coping is not the same as healing. Sorry. Angela, my dear friend Angela, is sitting here painting her nails, and she's just thrown blue nail polish all over the towel she's worked on. Embrace the messiness of life would be the message for her at this point in time. All right, let's come back to you, Charlene. Coping is not the same as healing. Charlene, the way your guides come forward with this message is they want you to know that you can release the idea of being finished, of getting to a point that you think you've done all that you need to be better. What they mean by this is there is no better version of you because there is no broken version of you. And so, sorry, Charlene, I'm just seeing what Sharon is saying here. Okay, Sharon, I'm going to come back to you. So, Angela, remind me, I have to come back to Sharon. So this idea of fixing yourself, Charlene, is something that they want to ask you to release. When any of us are chasing a better version of ourselves, we suddenly have this idea that there's something wrong with us today, and there's a more better version of ourselves, and we need to achieve that. And we're always trying to fix ourselves and get better and better and better. This holds us in this perpetual sort of sense of not feeling worthy and not feeling good enough. And so really it's about embracing the sort of imperfection of you is when healing happens. Because there's no better version of you than the version that's sitting here right here this minute listening to this message right now. You're perfect just the way you are. There's nothing to change. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing that you need to do differently. And when you embrace that, suddenly healing happens, and then we start accessing different resources in our lives. And so you're perfect, Charlene. Happy birthday. Sharon, that is a beautiful thing. So yes. You don't have to lose 30 kilograms. You're beautiful just the way you are. If you want to lose 30 kilograms, then you can. But you're beautiful. You're not going to be more beautiful when you do that. So this body you've got is the best body you've got, and she's doing a fantastic job for you every day. So love her. Love this body you're in. You chose her. Right. Let us see. Uvan or Yuvan. Yuvan. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Yuvan. Okay. Yuvan Lalu. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, but I've pinned you, so you know it's you. Let us see what your guides would like to tell you. Okay, Yuvan, your power lies in your vulnerability. Your power lies in your vulnerability. Okay. Whew. Yuvan, when I connect with your energy and your guides come forward, there's like this hardness. There's like I'm going to use the word they're asking me to use, so please, it's like a stubbornness with which you sometimes navigate life, and this sort of stubbornness is sort of like a need to protect yourself. So you get quite sort of rigid, I think, is the way that they're talking about things. It's like there's a hardness, there's a rigidity. And they're not saying this is a bad thing. They're just saying that this can sometimes hold you in a pattern of separateness. And so you don't always get the connection that you may be longing for. And when you can sort of just drop that guard a little bit, then people can connect with the real you. And then you're going to feel that intimacy more. And so in this year ahead for you, there's an opportunity for you to soften. And that softening does not create weakness. That softening creates intimacy. And intimacy is an amazing experience when you allow yourself to soften into it. So have a look where there is a guardedness, where there is a defensiveness, where there's a protectiveness, or even where there's a stubbornness, and see what that is about for you. Because when you can soften that, then things can shift and change in your world. Yeah? Okay, let us see. Okay, it's getting dark, isn't it? I'm not going to forget you. You're going to be lost because you're the special one. Liz, how are you doing, my darling? Let us see what your guides want to tell you, Liz. No, it's a tough time of year for you. All right, Liz. It's a very special message for you, Liz. Your dreams are calling you forward. Your dreams are calling you forward. I don't need to say too much to you about this card they're saying, because you know where it's coming from. You know that you've been sort of longing for freedom for a long time in your life, and this year there has been things and spaces that have created that. And so the year ahead is a year, it's called the Liz year. And it's the year of focusing on what Liz wants, what you need and what's important to you. And really the difficulty of investing in yourself as opposed to giving all your energy externally to others that need you is really important for you. So it's the year of what are Liz's dreams? What is it that you want to focus on? What's important for you? That's what that message is about for you, my love. Right. Let us see who is next here. Oh, well, I pinned one without knowing I'd pinned it. So, Mel, you up? Clearly your guides want to give you a message because I don't even know how I pinned that. So it's divine intervention. So let us see, Mel, what your guides want to tell you tonight. Okay, Mel. The card that's come forward for you is turn and face anything you are avoiding. Turn and face anything you are avoiding. Sometimes when this card comes up, there's like sort of something that we need to go and face. That's a difficulty. But in your case, that's not what this card represents at all. What this card is representing is facing your light, facing your gifts, facing what it is you have to offer the world. You tend to deny that in yourself. You tend to dismiss it and downplay it quite significantly, they're saying. And so this is about embracing your gifts, embracing that you are, I get the words that you're a healer in training. You need to learn how to use your healing gifts. Your healing lies not in the traditional ways. It's not hands-on healing. It's so much more healing that is using your creative tools for healing. And so there's about accessing your own light, your own creativity, your own gifts, and learning how to use that to bring more beauty into the world and more healing into the world. And this is not something to be downplayed or made small of. Right, so let us see this. So I'm going to do a reading for Angela sitting here with me. And then I think we may be calling it a night. Let me see after I've done Angela's reading what happens. But it is getting dark and the crickets are getting loud. I'm not sure if you can hear me over them. So let's see what it is that Angela needs to hear tonight. You ready, my love?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Ready.
Born ready.
Born ready.
Okay. So those of you that are just joined, Angela's sitting just out of the field of vision. She's my friend that I'm on holiday with, so she's been sitting here listening to the whole thing. So your card, my darling, is step into your full power. Yeah, beautiful mandala. Yeah, there you go. So the way your guides come forward is this is about accessing the power on all levels. So it's like when Brendan was little, my son, Brendan was little, he had the Power Rangers, and they'd go into this like power up mode, and they'd like everything would transform. So they'd move up from being one form of themselves into another form of themselves. And that's what they're giving us. It's like you're in a power up mode, which means that you're in a transforming place, which means don't hold on to anything too tightly. That there's parts of your identity, there's parts of your belief system, there's parts of your sort of physical experience that you may be holding on to from the past that are stopping you from transforming into the full power that you are. They kind of give the best way of describing it is like if you had to, and you can do this as a meditation if you like. Funny, because we were just saying that we should do a meditation. It's like if you take the 4 bodies, the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and this could be something for everybody. You take these 4 bodies and you start to look at to what extent am I using my physical power, and you have to rate that on a scale of 0 to 10. And so like, to what extent am I using my physical power? To what extent am I using my emotional power? Or in my emotional power, in my physical power is a better way of doing it. To what extent am I in my mental power, and to what extent am I in my spiritual power? And if you then start looking at what are the things that I need to release so that I can power up. So it's not to do, there's like a blockage to be released so that you can power up. So what's happening on the physical level, that if I release that, I feel more powerful. What's happening on the emotional level, that if I release that, I would feel more powerful. What's happening on the mental level, that if I release that, I would feel more powerful, and same on the spiritual level. And this is a beautiful way to notice what is it that needs to be released, just so that you can break through the glass ceilings that sometimes exist. And so I think we're going to end there, because that's a beautiful meditation for, I don't know if you can see the sunset. No, I don't know if you can see it properly here. It's beautiful. Oh, you can't see it properly, but anyway, it's there. It's right behind me. But we're going to leave it there. It's a magical, magical New Year's. I wish you all a lot of peace and joy and love and harmony tonight and tomorrow. Please know when you wake up tomorrow, it's the dawning of a brand new day, just like it was this morning and just like it'll be the next day after that. Is that whatever you do with the day is yours to do, as opposed to waiting for some sort of magical transformation to happen to you. I hope you're all safe tonight. If you are partying, party properly, but then, stay safe, and I will see you all next year. Take care. Namaste.